Hi everyone. Oh bugger. Okay, I'll
Start
go again.
over.
Right. Okay. Hi everyone. Today I'm with Sloane, and she is a wellness coach specializing in intuitive eating and eating with love and intuition. She's amazing. I've worked with her lots, and yeah, so she's just here to talk about what she does, and I thought it would be fab for all of you to hear from her. Okay, so hi Sloane.
Hi, Ellie. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. It's so great to see your beautiful smile again.
Oh, thank you. You too. It's lovely. So I was just wondering if you could start off by telling everyone a little bit about yourself, please.
Absolutely. So, as Ellie said, my name is Sloane Elizabeth. I am on Instagram at Kale and Cravings with a K, and I'm a holistic wellness coach. I specialize in eating with love and intuition, food freedom, ditching the diets, rules, and restrictions, and that is my passion. So, I share this love and this message online in tons of free resources on my blog and on Instagram. And then I also offer group coaching, which Ellie was a part of. It's called Free and Full. That's my 6-week program to eat with love and intuition and find food freedom. And then I also offer one-on-one private coaching around the same topic so that you can finally release the restrictions and the diet mentality and the fear of weight and the fear of, unhealthy foods so that you can live your life in all of the freedom and the abundance that was meant for you.
Yeah, I mean, I came across your work by going on your, I think it was 5 days, the get rid of fear of weight gain masterclass type thing, and honestly, it helped me so much. Obviously that I've got a journal coming out soon, and you've written in it, and that it really helped me. The journaling exercises that you do, because I must have written a good wodge of a journal, just going, why am I scared of weight, and all this kind of thing, and it was so helpful. But then when I went into my eating disorders treatment, I did really struggle with that. And then my nutritionist, she said, maybe you should look into someone that specializes in like body confidence and eating with love and intuition. And then I was like, Sloane. And
Love it.
You know what? It really worked, because a couple of months in, a couple of weeks in even, it feels like months because it's like that effective. But a couple of weeks in, I tried ice cream, and honestly, I just had the really rubbish low-calorie ice creams.
Yes.
I'd only eaten them for ages, and the first time I'd had proper ice cream, I cried because I was like, this tastes so nice.
I know it does. I eat ice cream almost every night. I can't believe that I went without it for so long also.
Yeah, I mean, now I think about it, I don't know how I did it, I have dessert pretty much every day. And I know you do too. It's just like, it nourishes your soul, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. And I think it's so interesting to hear you say that, you can't really imagine life before food freedom. And for so many people that are at a place kind of before they've found food freedom, they feel like they can't even imagine a life that encompasses and entails food freedom. They can't imagine eating ice cream. They know that it works for other people, but they just cannot imagine themselves being okay with it without worrying about the calories or the sugar. And it's so interesting to see that it's kind of the same on both sides. Like, you just can't imagine a different reality, which is why a lot of the work that we do together in my programs is focused on some deeper healing, some subconscious work, because you might not actually be conscious of the fears. Kind of like you were saying, you had to write in your journal to figure out, why am I scared? Because you consciously didn't even really know.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think your prompts that you give us as well, they help me so much, because I was writing and the things that I didn't really realize were there were coming out on the page, and I was like, that's what triggers that. And then
Yes.
suddenly, like, I'm not going to say that I am 1,000,000% okay all the time, because I mean, I was having a dance party on my Instagram the other day, and I thought, oh no, my stomach looks too big. And then I was like, you know what? I'm dancing anyway. I'm going to go and boogie in the kitchen. And it's that kind of thing, I think, where you can kind of go, yeah, I'm having a rough day, but I know how to cope with it now.
Exactly. And even for myself, like I have, been living with food freedom for years now. And the thing is that it does take more than just 6 weeks to fully step into your power. But the program is super accelerated, super deep. And so you do get there, I'd say like 75% of the way. And then, we have our Facebook group and for continued support, and you continue to grow and evolve. There's always more that you can do. But even for me, I still catch myself sometimes if I'm having pancakes for breakfast and I usually have a green smoothie. For a second, I'll be like, wait, there's not enough vegetables in my breakfast. Oh my God, I have to have a green juice, or I have to bump up the veggies in my lunch. And then I'm like, no, I don't. I can just eat the pancakes. Simple as that. And so when you practice the coping mechanisms more and you practice the new beliefs that we go over and that we bring into our minds as new truths, then it'll get easier for your brain to go to those thoughts as the default.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so it's about practice.
Yeah, I get that, definitely. Like, I think when you first start doing it, it's definitely a challenge, but then the more you do it, it becomes less and less of a problem. It's like eating disorders and fear foods. Like, the first time you try something, you might have a panic attack because it's so scary, but then the next time you might just get a bit anxious. And then I mean, I was like that with ice cream. First time I was like, no, I can't do this. And now I'm quite easily going outside going, yeah, I want an ice cream, I'm just going to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So how did you um, come to do all this? Because that's something I've actually been wondering, because you haven't had an eating disorder, have you?
So my story and my approach is pretty unique. And for me, I definitely was falling into disordered eating habits. And I was a perfectionist. I was always pretty small. And then when I started kind of like going through puberty, which was later than all of my friends, all of a sudden my body started changing. And I actually had a baking business in high school. And it was, all regular flour, regular sugar, so much butter. And I loved it. I mean, I have such a sweet tooth. And so basically, my junior and senior year of high school, when I was like 16 to 18, is when I kind of started freaking out and noticing my body. I was like, wait, I don't have a thigh gap anymore. Like, what? How do I get that back?
Mm.
And I thought that like sugar was the problem. I thought carbs was the problem. And I was looking for ways to control and get my body back. And so I, would switch to rice cakes instead of bread for my sandwiches. And I would try only to have dessert 2 times a week, which failed every single week because I have a sweet tooth. And so every time that I ate more than 2 desserts a week, I felt like I messed up, even though it was rules that I created. It was so arbitrary. And then when I went to university, I was like, I want to have the most full and beautiful experience possible. I don't want this looming over me. And so I kind of tried to release the rules a little bit, but the guilt was still there. It's like, okay, I guess I can have more than 2 desserts a week, but like, I probably shouldn't, but like, I want to because it's my new friend's birthday and I don't want to be the only one not eating the cookies, but like, I probably shouldn't. I should do better next week. And so the thought, like the habits were still there, but they were slowly loosening as I was really realizing what was more important in my life. And so we talk a lot about priorities in Free and Full, What is going to be the best for you as a whole being right now? And realizing that, yes, I wanted to feel healthy, I wanted to feel good, that's a priority, but enjoying chocolate because it is something that I truly enjoy so much, that also has to be a priority for me.
Yeah.
So I came up with the whole methodology of eating with love and intuition based I had been learning as a new wellness coach in terms of nutrition. And in university, I was also studying health and medicine. And I was diving deeper into my own spirituality and manifestation. And I realized that the two had to go together in order to fully heal. If you were just working with a registered dietitian and a therapist who had no interest or knowledge of the spiritual realm, that probably isn't going to cut it because they're so focused on the external. So a lot of people who I talk to who have already gone through eating disorder recovery, they're like, my weight is restored and I'm like following my meal plan, but like my brain isn't restored.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. I've found
the
that with so
mindset.
many people. Yeah, me
Mm-hmm.
included. I mean, the spiritual side of things, when you say spiritual, you don't mean religious, do you? It's
Nope,
more
not at all.
about you. So could you explain a bit about?
Absolutely. So basically, what spirituality means is going to be different for everybody, but in the broadest terms, it means tapping into your spirit. That's your soul, your essence. So stripping away our identity as, Sloane, the coach. Okay, yes. Or Sloane, the brunette. Okay, sure. But those are all external things. And when it gets down to like who I am or who you are as a being, that's our spirit. That's our soul. And that is what guides us. And that's what's, the most connected to the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. And so for me, I try to guide my clients to tap into their intuition. And basically, that means getting in touch with your highest self, like the best, most blissful, glowing goddess version of yourself, and doing what she would do, embodying her, that version every single day. And so for some people, it can go hand in hand with their religion. For me, not at all. I think of it more as the universe or the source of energy and love and light in the world. And it really seems woo woo to some people, but I think it's the most logical thing on this earth that we we are made of stardust and there is energy all around us. Our universe is expanding in every moment. It is just expanding into what? I don't know. And it blows my mind. But there's always an expansion, there's always abundance. And so that's also a manifestation principle that we use in the program a lot, and that I know really resonated with you, thinking in terms of abundance instead of lack.
Yes.
And it's taking those spiritual or manifestation practices and bringing them back to us and our bodies, and how we can use it in our healing and our journey towards more food freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely something that I found so helpful. I was definitely on the side of, oh, this is a bit woo woo, I'm not sure about this. And then suddenly, like, it's just little things from the universe. Like, I see feathers and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be all right. And it's just like little positive messages. And you think, maybe that was a coincidence. But does it matter? No, like we're just so, it makes you happy, and it's definitely like a source of happiness in my life. And then with the whole abundance thing, I think when you're ill, you feel like there's such a massive lack in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is lacking. You're not good enough. The world's not good enough. And everything's just rubbish. But then when you start, it's like treating yourself as you'd want others to treat you, or you'd want to treat others. And it's just little things, even like making time to do some self-care, or I It's a really strange thing. You can buy these weird, like, peppers with cheese stuffed in them, which is a bit odd, but they're really expensive. They're like £3 a pot. And I never bought them because I'm like, too expensive. But in my head, I thought that's quite luxurious and nice. So I bought some the other day and I felt so abundant. It was amazing.
Ellie, that is such a good example of ways that you can increase your feeling of abundance. And when we talk about, just abundance in general, or specifically in your food freedom and in your intuitive eating practices, we want to ask ourselves, okay, what's the most abundant version of me? Like, what would the most abundant example of me living in my power and eating intuitively look like? And how can I feel those things right now? So sometimes it might be buying something that makes you feel a little luxurious, or going and doing an experience, but it doesn't have to involve money. Like, abundance doesn't have to mean financial abundance, right? So for me, having crystals on my desk makes me feel abundant because they're just like majestic and magical. Or my brother has been making so much fun of me as we've been home and all working together. This is a glass I've been drinking my water out of. And for some reason, drinking out of a beautiful mason jar feels more abundant to me than drinking out of a dinner water glass. And so I've been using that every day. And it's, it doesn't have to have rhyme or reason, but small things, as you said, that make you feel more magical and that make you feel better just because are things that you want to consistently add and prioritize in your day.
Yeah, definitely. I think anything that makes you feel a little bit more special,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're having a rough time, if you can incorporate lots of little special things into your life, it makes the whole, like, heaviness of some days, because
Mm-hmm.
if you are ill, some days will be a bit rubbish, but if you can add those little things in, hopefully it will alleviate it a bit, and it definitely does for me. um
Absolutely.
so, before we go, could you just say to our audience maybe 3 things that you might suggest to them if you're struggling with disordered eating or something that would be beneficial to go towards love and intuition when they're eating or around food?
Absolutely. I have over 200 tips probably, but let's think of three. Okay. So when we talk about eating with love and intuition, again, the intention obviously is love and intuition. And so any practice that you can bring into your life, or a ritual that makes you feel more love and that taps into your intuition more, is going to be a go. Even if you feel like it's not exactly related to food, you'll learn that everything is all kind of one in the same. And if you can bring more intuition into your life in general, that will really help with the food part also. So whether that's meditating for you, or journaling, or reading a spiritual book, or listening to nice music, anything that can bring more love and intuition into your life, whatever, again, that means for you, or whatever resonates for you the most, is going to be a go. The second tip would be redefining your definition of the word nourishing. So Ellie briefly mentioned this with the ice cream, that ice cream is nourishing to her soul. And so many times we only want to eat clean foods that are super healthy, that nourish our bodies. And if it's sugar, or if it's empty carbs, or if it's fat, we feel like that's not doing anything for our body, so it's not nourishing. But if it brings you joy, it is nourishing to at least your heart and your soul. So if ice cream nourishes your soul, then it is a nourishing food. And that is a huge shift that so many of my clients and our other girls in Free and Full were able to experience. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is finding other things that are important to you about yourself. So instead of assigning all of your worth and your value to the way that you look. Try to be more conscious of things about your body or about yourself just as a person, as a soul, that make you really proud and that make you really happy, and start giving more love to those aspects of yourself and consciously appreciating them more, because you can still care about the way that you look when you have food freedom. Totally. Like I do. I want to look good, I want to feel good, but it's so not a priority when I think about other things that make me who I am. So as you start on this journey, as you go through the journal prompts in the Dawn Journal, and as you embark on these steps, finding things that are more meaningful to you than abs or thigh gap is going to help you a lot.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sloane. That was just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ellie. I'm so happy to be able to chat with you from across the pond.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's so nice as well, because I think everyone's kind of found how amazing video chat is recently.
Totally.
It's just, I think video chat is just going to be completely overloaded now, because everyone is obviously in quarantine. So
Yep.
it's just finding all these beautiful little moments. So yeah,
100%.
thank you so much for doing this with
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
I will stop recording.